This chapter dives into four big topics: prison life, inmate rights, release, and recidivism. We start with life inside what's called a total institution, a place completely cut off from the outside world, where everything runs on strict rules. In men's prisons, the convict code shapes daily life. It's an unwritten set of rules that guides how inmates deal with each other and with staff. Over time, many inmates go through prisonization, basically adapting to prison culture. Life inside can also mean dealing with violence, victimization, and finding ways to cope. Prisons aren't all the same, and what we learn from old maximum security big house studies doesn't always apply everywhere. Sociologist Irving Goffman described prisons as total institutions, self-contained worlds where people live and work, cut off from society under strict rules. Inside, a unique inmate society forms, often guided by the convict code, an unwritten set of values and norms that shapes how inmates relate to each other and staff. Two main theories explain how this society develops. The deprivation model says it grows out of the harsh realities of prison life. The importation model says inmates bring their own values and behaviors from the outside world. Either way, newcomers are prisonized, socialized into inmate culture. Violence is a persistent reality. Inmates assault other inmates and staff, and while staff assaults are rarer, they still happen. Sexual activity in prison can be consensual, transactional, or coercive, with sexual assaults often crossing racial lines. Beyond physical harm, inmates may suffer economic, psychological, and social victimization, often linked to the prison's underground economy, manipulation tactics, and discrimination. Prison life is far more restrictive and stressful than life outside. It can erode personal identity, foster dependency, and strip away control over daily life. Inmates cope in different ways. Some seek power by dominating others. Most find a private niche that meets their needs. Criminologist John Irwin identified 3 prison lifestyles: doing time, focusing on release and avoiding trouble; jailing, fully embracing prison life, often by those with long records; and gleaning, using prison resources to prepare for a better future. Life in women's prisons shares some similarities with men's facilities, but there are key differences. Women's prisons generally have less violence, fewer racial tensions, and a softer attitude towards staff. One unique feature is the pseudo-family, make-believe families where inmates take on roles like mother, sister, or husband. These kinship networks provide emotional support and a sense of belonging. Homosexual relationships in women's prisons are usually consensual and based on affection, not dominance, and they don't necessarily overlap with pseudo-families. Unlike in men's prisons, these relationships are less about power and more about connection. When adjusting to prison life, women often take on one of 3 roles identified by Esther Heffernan. Squares were mostly law-abiding before prison and stick to conventional behavior inside. Those in the life role were habitual offenders before incarceration and keep their anti-authority mindset. And the cools are seasoned professionals, calm, controlled, and skilled at navigating prison life. When it comes to research, we know far more about inmates than prison staff. Most studies focus on correctional officers because they make up the largest share of staff, keep the facility secure, and work closest with inmates. As of 2018, there were about 440,000 correctional officers in the U.S., most in state prisons, followed by local facilities. Roughly 70% were men, 2/3 were white. Becoming a correctional officer requires training that meets American Correctional Association standards, though requirements vary by state. The job itself can swing between long stretches of boredom and sudden bursts of chaos. Officers also face the tension between custody and rehabilitation goals, creating role strain and sometimes corruption. Officers respond in different ways. Some withdraw and grow cynical, others lean on intimidation. Some become corrupt, and some take on a human service mindset, focusing on helping inmates where they can. Efforts to professionalize the role face big challenges: low pay, remote prison locations, inconsistent training, limited applicant pools, and backlash against hiring policies. Unionization has grown, but the path to making corrections work a respected profession is still a work in progress.